Today we're going to talk about square roots, and this symbol is called the square root symbol. This is called a radical symbol. To simplify square roots, you're going to want to have your calculator handy because we have two steps that we're going to follow. The first step is we're actually going to type the problem into the calculator, and we're either looking for a whole number answer or a decimal. If we get a decimal, we're actually going to follow this second step. This should have been a 2. PowerPoint didn't work too well. And the second step, we're going to make factor trees, which I know that you've done before. They'll look familiar once we start here. And our goal in making a factor tree is to circle our pairs or our buddies. We're looking for pairs or buddies in a factor tree. And then we're also going to have some leftovers. So the first example is square root 100. So you're going to want to have a calculator handy. And you're looking for the square root symbol, which is that symbol in your calculator. So step 1 says to type in the square root of 100, and when you do, you'll notice that it will come up with 10. So we're finished on this problem. The square root of 100 is 10 because 10 times 10, a pair of 10s, a buddies of 10, equals 100. So we're on to example 2, which is similar. So once again, you want your calculator, and you're looking for the square root symbol, which is the symbol in your calculator. So step 1 says to type your problem in. So square root 36. When you type that in, you'll notice that your calculator says 6. The square root of 36 is 6. And since you get a whole number answer, you're finished. Because 6 times 6, a pair of 6, buddies of 6, equal 36. So you're finished with example 2. Example 3 says the square root of 20. So one more time, you're going to type into your calculator, square root of 20, but this time you'll notice you're going to get a decimal answer. It says 4.47. Well, this is called an approximation, which you use this symbol, it's like a squiggly equals, to show an approximation. So since we get an approximation instead of a whole number answer, that means we're going to have to move on to step 2 on this problem. So step 2 said to make a factor tree. I'm sure you've made factor trees before. This will look familiar once we start. So we're going to go back to our 20, and right underneath it, we're going to make a factor tree. So we want numbers that we can multiply together to give us 20. We're always going to start with easy numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7. Start with something easy. So we know that 2 times 10 will give us 20. And then we're going to keep breaking these numbers down until all we have are prime numbers. So 2, we can't break 2 down, so we'll bring that straight down. But now we can break down 10. What are 2 numbers we can multiply together to give us 10? We know that 2 times 5 will give us 10. And these are all prime numbers now. You can't break down 2, you can't break down 2, you can't break down 5. So we're going to look at this bottom row of 2, 2, and 5, and we're going to circle buddies, circle pairs. So we have a pair of 2s, so we're going to circle these guys, and then we have this 5 that's left over. So to write our answer, we're going to write our square root symbol, okay, and we're going to call that our house. So our square root symbol, which is our house. And if you have a buddy, you can go outside the house. So we have a pair of 2s. The 2s are buddied up. So we're going to put a 2 outside the house. But then we have this 5 underlined. This 5 was all by himself. He's left over by himself. So he has to stay inside the house. And this is going to be our final answer. And the way we read this is 2 square root 5. Once again, you want to have your calculator handy. And your first step is to always type your problem into the calculator. So you're going to type in square root 300. And when you do that, your calculator is going to give you 17.3205 and so forth. So this is called an approximation. So that's that funny looking equal sign. And that means that we need to move on to step 2. That means we need to make a factor tree. So we're going to go underneath our square root. So underneath square root 300, we're going to break this down. So start with easy numbers. So I'm going to start with 2. So I know that 2 times 150 will give us 300. put that in your calculator. 300 divided by 2 is 150. I can't break down 2, so I'm going to carry it down. I can break down 150 though. So once again, I'm just going to type into the calculator 150 divided by 2, which is going to give us 75. So that means 2 times 75 is going to give you 150. Okay, remember we were trying to break these down into prime numbers. We can't break down 2. We can't break down 2. We can break down 75. Okay, 75 divided by 2, if you type that in your calculator, that doesn't work. So we'll try 3. 75 divided by 3 will give us 25. So that means 3 times 25 will give us 75. Okay, can't break down 2. Can't break down 2, can't break down 3. We can break down 25. Okay, once again, try the small numbers. 25 divided by 2 doesn't work. 25 divided by 3 doesn't work. We could try 5 though. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. So 5 times 5 will give us 25. And now we have all prime numbers. So we're looking for buddies. We want pairs of numbers. We want a number that has a buddy with it. So if we look, we have a pair of 2's. So I'm going to circle it. And we also have a pair of 5's. So I'm going to circle those guys. So these guys are buddied up. And then this poor little 3 is all left over by himself. So now we're going to write our answer. So to write our answer, we're going to draw our house, which is our square root symbol. And remember, the buddies can go outside. So the 2's have buddies, so we can take a 2 outside. And then the 5's have a buddy, so they can go outside. And then this poor lonely 3's left over, so he has to stay inside the house. Now this 2 and 5 that's outside the house, outside the square root symbol, we're going to multiply them together and say 2 times 5 is 10. And then our square root symbol and the 3's left over. And there's our final answer. 10 square root 3. Okay, so I made a mistake here on the PowerPoint, so sorry about that. We're going to change this problem into square root of 108. I want you to try this problem on your own. So pause the video, try it, see what you get, and then come back and start the video again. So square root 108. Remember, you're going to type it into the calculator first. So we're going to type in the square root of 108. And when you do that, you'll see that we get an approximation of 10.39. So that means that we need to go to our second step, which is to make our factor tree. So we'll start dividing by small numbers. So 108 divided by 2 is 54. So our first step for our factor tree is going to be 2 times 54. 54 is not prime, so we're going to bring down this 2. We can break down 54. It's even, so we know 2 is going to work again. So 54 divided by 2 is 27. So 54 is 2 times 27. Okay, 2 is prime, 2 is prime. 27 is not. 2 doesn't go into 27 though, so let's try 3. So 27 divided by 3 is 9. So 3 times 9 will give us 27. Okay, keep going. 2's prime, 2's prime, 3's prime, 9 is not. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. So that means 3 times 3 will give us 9. So now we have all prime numbers here at the bottom. So we're going to buddy up again. So we're looking for all our buddies. So we have a pair of 2's. They're buddied up. And then we have a pair of 3's. These guys are buddied up. And we have another 3 all left over by himself. So we're going to write our final answer. So we're going to draw our house, which is our square root symbol. Remember, the buddies can go outside. So we had a pair of 2's buddied up, so a 2 can go out. Then we had a pair of 3's buddied up, so a 3 can go outside. But we also had a 3 left over, so 1 3 has to stay in the house. Okay, and the buddies we're going to multiply together. So 2 times 3 will give us 6. And then inside the house is the 3. So our final answer here is 6 square root 3.